Do you know what absolutely freaking sucks? Reading slumps. I'm in a reading slump, and I keep trying to make videos or thinking about making videos or trying to look up things to make videos about when I haven't been reading. And it's been kind of hard, and it feels a little disingenuous. It feels like I'm trying to like portray a character because I haven't read a book in a second. There's a couple people I can blame directly. One of them, his name is Patrick Rothfuss. Another one's name is Jim Butcher. These are people that wrote books and series that I got so invested in that when I was done, I was left feeling empty inside. This is a feeling I used to feel when I was a kid. You finish a big series and you're like, oh, that was so good. How could I possibly read something else that does that same thing to my brain? And the answer is sometimes you just can't. The problem was I read these series back to back, and trying to get into anything since reading them has been pretty bad. Everyone has lots of like prescribed cures for reading slumps. Some people say you should go read a classic book that you love. But the thing is, the internet has warped my brain. The internet has shown me that there are so many wonderful books that I should be reading. So the breadth of books I should be reading is so vast that the idea of going back and reading a favorite feels like not wasted time, but lost time, because there's something I could be experiencing that's new instead of revisiting something that's old. And I realize that's not a healthy mindset. I should definitely have the feeling that it's okay to go back and revisit some of my favorites, but to my brain at this point in my life, that just feels wrong. So the idea of going back and reading something that I've already read instead of spending time devoting to catching up on the years and hundreds of books that I should have read but haven't, I just can't do it right now. Some people say it's a good idea to go read something short. That can be a good idea. Last month for the Patron Buddy Read, I read The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, which I enjoyed. And I especially enjoyed it more the second half when I sort of realized what was going on. The problem was it didn't actually get me out of my slump. It was just something quick to read that I was able to get through regardless of my slump. Something that sometimes helps me get out of a slump is just picking up something that I'm super excited to read and jumping right into it. And I did that with Joe Abercrombie's First Law series, which is something that I am convinced I am going to like. I started reading it, and then I couldn't progress. I was having a hard time getting invested in what was going on. I think I made it maybe a third of the way through the book, and the characters were interesting, but the lack of overall plot, and then some of the characters having a lot of... I read fantasy primarily. I don't know why I was getting so confused, because I feel like I've probably read a lot more complicated, convoluted bullcrap, but for some reason it wasn't clicking with me, and I knew that Abercrombie is something I was probably going to love, so I had to set that aside. I've also tried picking up random other books that I thought I would love, and none of them have stuck, and it's really driving me crazy, because I have a booktube channel, which requires me to read books and talk about books, and what am I as a person if I am not reading? And that's probably not a healthy mindset, but it happens. This is not the first time on my channel that I've been in a book slump, but this is the longest I've been in a book slump since having this channel. Even when I take breaks from making videos, I've never stopped reading for this long of a period since starting this channel 2 years ago. Happy birthday to the channel. My largest previous slump was from reading too many books I disliked in a row. This slump comes from reading books that I love too close together in a row. Finish the Dresden Files, finish the Kingkiller Chronicles, what we have available, thanks Pat. And then I'm left wondering what the frick I'm supposed to be reading and struggling to get into anything because these two boys had me so invested, and now I'm lost. Sometimes you can get excited by buying books. I went through and bought a bunch of books. I bought some audiobooks for books that I had the ebook of, hoping that having the audiobook would help me get through it faster. I haven't picked any of those up. I've tried to start audiobooks, but I'm literally like getting stuck in the first chapter. I thought it would be exciting to pick up the next Wheel of Time book because everybody's talking about the Wheel of Time, getting ready for the television show, and I'm on book 4, which everyone says that's when things get real. I fell asleep, which to be fair, probably wasn't the book's fault. I fall asleep a lot lately. My life is kind of hectic, but that definitely didn't help. Another common tip when people are talking about how to get out of a book slump is to read something out of your comfort zone. Now, this sometimes is a good option. Sometimes when I get really like, I've read too many fantasies in a row, it helps if I pick something else up, or at least something with a seriously different vibe. This can help. I looked at the books of the month available to me this month because I'm part of the book of the month thing, and I found 3 different books that I wanted to read. So I have a little bit of a mini haul. Let's talk about the books that I picked up for book of the month because I'm in a mind state where this is what sounded interesting to me once I go get them. This is a freaking unboxing video for y'all. I haven't even opened it yet. How the frick do you open one of these? Oh, there's tape. For all of you monsters out there that use scissors to open up your boxes, you freak me out. Use a knife, an actual knife. Here we go. I'm going to open it with a tool that was designed for opening packages. Look at this. It's also so much easier. And then the knife has a safety feature which lets you close it. Voila. All right, let's see what we got. Oh my word. New books smell so good. I buy ebooks so much that I forget how good freaking new books smell. The first book that I thought sounded interesting this month, is called A Little Hope by Ethan Joella. Let's find the little insert here. The blurb says, a luminous, life-affirming novel set in idyllic Connecticut town over the course of a year. A Little Hope follows intertwining lives of a dozen neighbors as they confront everyday desires and fears, a lost love, a stalled career, an illness, and a betrayal. This sort of gave me Bachman-like vibes. Why don't I just read Bachman, you say? Because it wasn't scratching the itch, but this, especially now that it's fall, was giving me the types of vibes that I felt like I needed. So I picked this up. It doesn't look very long. It doesn't look very long at all. Wow. Man, reading fantasy books can just really make you think that books are all just huge. This book doesn't look very large. And look at this. The text is not very dense at all. Anyway, I picked up this A Little Hope by Ethan Joella, which seemed interesting to me. This reminds me of Magic cards. I should have said books, frick. The next book that I got was The Keeper of the Night by Kylie Lee Baker, which, I don't know, it's just a sweet looking fantasy book for one. So that's got, that's something for it, going for it. What does the blurb say? It looks like it is a half British Reaper, half Japanese Shinigami, which, it was like, I think it's a young adult fantasy book. The back says, I am too dangerous to let live any longer. It is written in the book of Anku, decreed by the High Reaper himself. Death will come to find me, but I will no longer be there, which is sweet. And I love fantasy, so I picked this up. Is it fantasy? And I said I was in a slump for fantasy. Sue me. And then finally, the freaking book that was super interesting to me from Book of the Month is K.M. Jackson's How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days. It's a romance book. But let me tell you, Keanu Reeves always is a trigger for me because he evidently is one of my favorite actors. At least a lot of my favorite movies are Keanu Reeves movies. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, The Matrix, Jonathan Wick. I love all of those movies. They're so fun. And this book is about a girl who has a huge crush on Keanu Reeves, and she finds out he's going to get married, and she goes out with her best friend to try to stop him from getting married. But because it's a romance, she might accidentally fall in love with her best friend. You never know. You never know. I made a video once about how like romance books tropes literally are the spoilers for what happens in the book, but it's all about journey before destination. But what do I know? I didn't smell this one yet. Hold on. Oh, yes. Anyway, the amount that this book interests me is a lot more than you might think, and I will definitely have to review this book on the channel. Please let me know if you're interested. Give this video a like if you find it interesting. Subscribe to the channel for some reason if you want to. Thank you. But those are the things that I've been struggling with. I'm really wanting to get back into reading. It feels weird to not be reading right now and to have not read a book in so long. Reading is something that I've been trying to push on people with this channel because I think it's something awesome that more people should do. But sometimes people on BookTube can get obsessed with the numbers. I've never been the person that reads the most books. I think I average between 50 and 60 books a year, which compared to some people is a lot. Compared to some people, it's not a lot at all. I'm just for more people reading more books in general, but for me, this was such a weird roadblock that I haven't hit so hard since starting this channel that I didn't know what to do, and it's been weird because I want to make videos for the channel. I've had some time to make videos for the channel, and I didn't know what to make them on because I've been stuck not reading. So I decided, why not freaking sit in front of the camera and just be real? Just be honest and true. Additionally, for the month, I have the TBR of Well, the only book I've committed to read this month was Voice of War by Zach Argyle, which is a book I've wanted to read for a while because it was a self-published indie book before I realized that I followed the author on Twitter. Didn't realize that at first. 2, won a free audiobook of that book, so I now have the ebook and the audiobook because I had purchased it already. And 3, I've seen lots of people like it, and I love to support self-published authors, so I'm hoping that I like this one. It's the buddy read for the patrons this month. If you'd like to buddy read it with us, please check out the Patreon. You can check that out down below. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. I'm in a little bit of a book slump, but I'm hoping Voice of War and How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days can save me from this book slump. What do you guys think? What are things that work for you? I think for me, it's just a matter of time. I wait enough time, then I try to pick something up. I'm sure something will grab me at some point. It will hook me, and I'll be right back into the reading train. But I'm open to suggestions. What do you guys normally do? Do you reread an old favorite? Do you pick something up from a new genre? Do you read something short? Do you do lots of push-ups and make yourself do push-ups until you get into a book? That was a dumb thing. Part of me wants to just jump into Malazan, Book of the Fallen, as if that's going to be the series to save me from my reading slump. Is that a thing that I should do? Is that a thing that I can do? Michaela, my friend from the Discord, suggests that I just finish reading some of the things that I started that ends on cliffhangers. I don't know why one would suggest that. Like, I read Six of Crows, but I didn't read Crooked Kingdom. How does one stop there? I have problems. I read Strange the Dreamer, but I didn't read Muse of Nightmares. How does one stop there? I have problems. Should I pick up one of those things? I don't know. Thank you for watching this chaotic video. I hope to see you again. Please, once again, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos from me, if you want to see updates on my life and reading slump and updates from these books specifically. Everyone who's still watching, comment down below a book that has helped you get out of a reading slump. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Goodbye.
No one ever get enough. Always looking out tired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. If it don't show up, I might get fired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. Always looking out tired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. If I don't show up, I might get fired.